Hello, and welcome to this month's Safety Minute. For this month's Safety Minute, I want to talk about personal protective equipment, or better known as PPE. The most basic definition of safety is that safety is there to mitigate the sudden release of uncontrolled energy and the effects that it has on lives, land, materials, equipment, and supplies. That's the most basic definition of safety. The interesting thing is, it is impossible for you to live your life and never be exposed to a sudden release of uncontrolled energy. Just think back to the last time you were hurt. That injury was caused by a sudden release of uncontrolled energy. In fact, we get hurt so often and so regularly that most people can't even remember all the times we received a bump, bruise, cut, or burn. That is how often and how regular we get injured. We get exposed to sudden releases of uncontrolled energy. Just take walking, for example. In order for a toddler to learn how to walk, they will fall down hundreds, if not thousands of times, just learning the most basic form of transportation, of walking. But they're only 2 feet tall, and they don't weigh a lot. So when they fall down, it's not a lot of energy that they're releasing. But then as we grow up, and we become kids, teenagers, adults, from time to time we still fall down while walking. But now we're falling down from 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet tall, and we weigh a lot more. So it's way more energy that's being released than it is compared to a toddler when they fall down. In fact, slips, trips, and falls are the #1 reported workplace incident. That is how often we fall down while walking. And if we can't even walk without falling down, what's to say we can ride a bike, drive a car, operate equipment, machinery, tools, work with chemicals, explosives, nuclear material, thermal energy, electrical energy, and never be exposed to those sudden releases of uncontrolled energy. And when those energies release, they are far greater than falling down while walking. And that's where PPE comes in. You see, personal protective equipment doesn't stop that sudden release of uncontrolled energy in any way. What it does is it mitigates that energy and it eliminates or reduces the effects it has on the body. Just take me for example. I was in a fire that was 1,500 degrees Celsius, 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. That is more than twice the heat of the average house fire. In less than 20 seconds, I received 3rd and 4th degree burns to 90% of my body. The parts of my body that aren't burnt at all were areas covered in leather. Those articles of clothing included my leather belt, my work pouch, my knee pads, and my hiking shoes. With the exception of the knee pads, none of these things were considered to be PPE, and none of them, even the knee pads, weren't considered to be fire-resistant PPE. Yet simply because they are made out of leather, they completely spared those parts of my body. Just take a look at my knee. You can see the exact shape of the knee pads. And where the knee pad was, the skin is soft, it moves, there's hair follicles, oil glands, sweat glands, and the pigment is normal. And where the knee pad ends, the burns start. And you can see how deep the burns go. It's about 1/2 inch. And where the burnt skin is, it doesn't move, it's not soft. There's no hair follicles, no oil glands, no sweat glands, and the pigment is patchwork at best. If just a simple piece of leather was able to completely prevent that extreme heat from damaging my body, imagine if I would have worn the full fire-resistant coveralls, self-enclosed breathing apparatus, and solvent-resistant gloves that the safety data sheet said I should have been wearing. Now honestly, I didn't have access to any of that PPE. My employer didn't supply anything. But when I looked at the parts of my body that weren't burned, that were covered with just simple pieces of leather, I also realized I also had purchased a pair of leather work gloves with my own money. And I put those work gloves underneath my driver's seat where they're easy to get at. So they'd be the first things I grabbed when I went to my jobs. But that day I chose not to wear my gloves. And I chose not to wear my gloves because the job I was in, I knew at the end of the day, my gloves would be so contaminated, I'd have to throw them out. And I didn't want to throw away my $20. So instead I made the conscious decision I was going to subject my hands to that job instead of my gloves. Because it'd be much easier to wash my hands than it would be to throw out my gloves. When I realized all the parts of my body that weren't burnt at all, from simple pieces of leather, and realized I had those leather gloves, I wondered, what if I would have chose to wear them? Would my hands be completely normal to this day? Would I have one more piece that I could add to that list of parts that weren't burnt on my body, being my hands? I did this part to myself. And the value of my hands was $20. So the next time you have the choice, and believe me, it's a choice on if you're going to wear your PPE, no matter if your employer mandates it or not, or what you do around the house. The next time you have that choice to put on your hard hat, even though you don't feel like there's any overhead danger above you. The next time you have that choice on if you're going to put on your fall protection when you take a quick trip into heights. The next time you have that choice because you're a salesperson and you need to go across the shop floor and ask some technician a question, and if you're going to put on your steel toe boots or not. The next time you have that choice on if you're going to wear your gloves, knowing that they're going to reduce your dexterity, but also knowing that hand injuries, well, hands are the second most common part of the body we hurt at work. Second only to the back. The next time you have that choice to wear your PPE, what choice are you going to make? What's the value of your body parts? Are they worth more than mine was? Of $20. I hope you enjoyed this month's Safety Minute. If you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to bring me out to your workplace, go to spencerspeaks.ca. Until the next Safety Minute, stay safe.